Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I'm Jennifer and I'm back doing my monthly series where I talk about what I watched every single month. And today I'm going to be talking about what I watched in March. I can't believe we're already in April. Every single time I film one of these videos, I get shocked at what month it is. And yeah, last month I saw a lot of really different movies that I wouldn't have gotten a chance to see if it wasn't for my friend Daniela. So I'm gonna give her a huge shout out. If you're watching this, thank you so much, because she got tickets to the Miami Film Festival and then she told me to go with her and watch the movies. And by go with her, I mean either going to my couch or her couch because we're still in the pandemic and it's all virtual. But watching it this year was so awesome because I've always wanted to go to the Miami Film Festival and watch these movies. Honestly, all of the ones that I saw were, in my opinion, really positive and I really enjoyed them. And some of these have already been out in other festivals, and I think only like a couple, 2 or 3, did just premiere at the Miami Film Festival. And I'm excited, so I'm going to be talking about those today, and I have some other movies to talk about, of course. And yeah, without further ado, I'm going to get started. Make sure to let me know down below what you watched last month. I always love to hear it. You already know these videos are like my favorite because they're so laid back and I just get to chill and talk about movies. So the first one that I saw was part of the Miami Film Festival, and this one originally premiered at TIFF, I'm pretty sure. I remember hearing some stuff about it then, and it's Beans. And this movie was really awesome and I definitely recommend it. It was about 12-year-old Beans is on the edge, torn between innocent childhood and reckless adolescence, forced to grow up fast and become the tough Mohawk warrior she needs to be during the Oka crisis, the turbulent indigenous uprising that tore Quebec and Canada apart for 78 tense days in the summer of 1990. It was awesome, and I think a story that definitely needs to be told, and it was a very interesting coming of age story because I think as it was a coming of age story of this young girl, we also got to learn a lot about this crisis that was happening that I myself didn't know much about. I cannot even imagine what these people went through and what indigenous people still go through. I think especially in a day and age like today, these stories matter a lot, and I think the acting was definitely the strongest point, especially from Bean's mother. I think it was really awesome, and I think the ending from beginning to end was really satisfying, especially in the character arc that our main character goes through. And I also really like the editing of this movie. Just editing is something that I always look out for because it's one of my favorite parts about filmmaking, and I think it was great in this movie. And just one criticism that I have, I feel like at some points the story gets a bit lost because it's trying to balance Bean's growth and development and also trying to give information to the audience about the Oka crisis. So I think sometimes there got a little bit turbulent, but for the most part I really enjoyed this movie and I definitely recommend it. Then I saw an awesome movie that's now one of my favorite movies of the year list, Raya and the Last Dragon. I was gonna make a whole review for this and I still probably will if I find the time to do so. I've just been really busy with college and stuff, but honestly if I find the time I will make a full-blown video on it because I think there's a lot to talk about. I really liked it. First of all, the animation was fantastic, beautifully animated. I love it. I really liked the design of the dragon as well. I also thought the movie had a really awesome message, and I love Disney and their messages, and this one is definitely one of them. And the story was so engaging from beginning to end, and the fight scenes were so epic. I loved the action sequences. It was just a really nicely balanced story. If I had to criticize it on something, I would say that some of the jokes feel a bit too modern for the time that the movie looks. Some of those jokes you could definitely tell what audience they're tailoring to, but I don't really take too much criticism because of that. This is a kids movie and kids are supposed to enjoy it, and I know they're gonna enjoy it when they see those stuff. So yeah, that's like if I had to criticize it. Also, the score was awesome. It's just like such a good movie. One that I really wish I would have seen at the big screen. I saw it on Disney Plus, but I think this would have been beautiful at a movie theater. Then I went on to see Chaos Walking, the new movie starring Tom Holland and Daisy Ridley, and this movie has just taken forever to come out. Like such a long time to come out. I mean, I remember when I think this project first started, had a bunch of reshoots and problems, so that's already a red flag. But I enjoyed this movie. Sure, it's not the best, but like I didn't go into this movie thinking it was gonna be a masterpiece or whatever. I really enjoyed it for what it was. I had such fun time with it, honestly. I can't even lie. My sister actually read the book. It's right here. And I started it and it was pretty good. I haven't finished it though. She has all the other books as well. I'm gonna keep that there for the rest of the video. I think it's a nice addition to the background. But yeah, I think Tom Holland did a great job. Daisy Ridley did a great job. I think honestly they carried the movie, if I'm being honest. However, I wish Daisy Ridley was given more to do in the movie. I feel like you could definitely also tell when the reshoots happened because I feel like sometimes the story was going in one direction. Like they never finished wrapping that up or they never finished developing that and it switched to something else. And I think with the reshoots, they just kind of cut and pasted a bunch of different parts together to make it one movie, but I think it had a bunch of different parts going for it. And I think that it kind of abruptly ended too. Like, it ended and I'm like, wait, that's it? I don't know if they're gonna make more movies of the books. Honestly, I doubt they will, because I don't think the movie's gonna get that much praise for Lionsgate to be like, yep, we're gonna make more of them. But I mean, you never even know nowadays. But I still enjoyed the movie. It was pretty fun and enjoyable. It kind of reminded me of old YA movies like the Divergent era, the Fifth Wave, the Hunger Games. Even though the Hunger Games, those movies are just epic. Like, I can't even talk bad about those movies. But like that era of cinema when it was just YA novels being made into books, that's what this kind of reminded me of. Those dystopian vibes, and I like those vibes, so yeah, I enjoyed it, but it definitely had its problems. The next movie that I saw is one that is now in my favorite movie list, and it's everything I wanted this movie to be. It was Contact. So just a little bit of a story time. I'm gonna go on a tangent, but that's why I like these videos, because I just get to talk and ramble about a bunch of movies that I like and some little stories. So this movie, Contact, I've wanted to watch it honestly since I was in middle school. I remember when I first saw Silence of the Lambs, I had like a Jodie Foster phase where I just wanted to watch all of her movies, and she's in this movie and I really wanted to watch this one. And I remember almost every single film account would show this scene, and it's like the iconic mirror shot scene. And if you guys saw my short film, The Ghost Inside, I actually tried to recreate it in the opening scene. And if you guys want me to make a video on how I did that, I can totally do it. And I finally saw it because it's actually available on YouTube free with ads. I was so amazed by it, and I'm so happy that I love it as much as I do, because it's everything that I've wanted this movie to be and more. The thing that I love so much about it, that ongoing discussion throughout the movie about religion and science, and the movie never really takes a side. It kind of just explores both sides, and I think it adds a lot to our main character's development. Also, Jodie Foster's awesome. I love her in literally everything, but she's really awesome here, and I just don't have a lot to say about the movie because I want you guys to all go watch it. But it was so much fun, and this movie's pretty long. And if I'm being honest, I didn't feel the runtime. Like, I didn't care that it was long because I was having a blast going through this journey with our main character. I think they did a good job at making our protagonist someone that you just want to see succeed, and they do such a great job with that. Beautifully filmed, beautifully written, and the ending was awesome. Robert Zemeckis did it again. I mean, he's done some of my favorite movies, Back to the Future, Forrest Gump, and now this. So yeah, I really love him, and this movie had so many thought-provoking conversations that I just didn't expect, and I loved it. The next one I saw was a part of Miami Film Festival, and this one originally premiered, I believe, at Sundance, and it's called The Pink Cloud, and I absolutely loved this movie. And the interesting thing about this one, I'm gonna read you guys the synopsis. Giovanna and Iago are strangers who share a spark after meeting at a party. When a deadly cloud mysteriously takes over their city, they are forced to seek shelter with only each other for company. As months pass and the planet settles into an extended quarantine, their world shrinks, and they are forced to come to terms with an accelerated timeline for their relationships. And the funny thing is, guys, that this idea of a cloud that's outside, that's keeping people inside, and you have to quarantine, all of this idea came out before the pandemic even started. At the beginning of the film, they make a disclaimer saying that, like, any resemblance to actual facts is just a coincidence. This movie was weird because it gave me weird feelings, because it reminded me a lot of when quarantine started, because when everything shut down, I did not leave my house at all. Thinking of like that idea of just being alone in your house like 24/7 was weird. And in this movie, throughout the movie, basically they're in the same location, and you see this cloud that kills people, and this cloud kills people, so they're not allowed to leave. And I think just the fact that these people came up with this idea and then the pandemic hit is just so crazy to me. Although I didn't like the feeling the movie made me feel, I think it's what the movie tried to do, and with that it succeeded. I really liked it. I also really enjoyed the acting, and I also loved the script. I think the script was definitely its strongest point, and I think the story here was just beautiful. Although it was devastating but beautiful at the same time, and I really, really enjoyed it. Then I saw another movie from Miami Film Festival, and this one is called My Heart Goes Boom Boom, or the Spanish title Explota Explota, and I really liked this one. It was like a really fun musical. This movie was so silly, but I thought it was so much fun. I really liked the characters, and it was so cheesy. And if I had to really criticize it about something, it's because the movie is basically about this woman that wants to be a dancer, and like her best friend says that she's like the best dancer ever, but she's going into this TV show that's very like conservative and old school. They don't want women to dress and dance a certain way. It has to be very strict and formal. But like every single time they would show her dancing, literally this was her. that's all she would do. She wouldn't do anything else. Like, her dancing was not that good for me as an audience to believe that like she was the best dancer in all of España. I gave it like 4 out of 5 stars. Maybe I should have given it less because it's literally so cheesy, and I usually don't like that type of stuff, but like I liked it, and the songs were also really nice, so that was a good sign. The closest movie that this movie reminds me of is Mamma Mia, and you guys know I love Mamma Mia. If Mamma Mia had a child and it was a movie made in Spain, this is kind of what this movie would be. The next movie I saw is also from Miami Film Festival, and is this the last? No, this is not the last movie I saw from Miami Film Festival. This one was The Saint of the Impossible, and this is the one that I was the least fan of. I still enjoyed it, but I would definitely not want to rewatch this one. I think I liked where the movie was going, and I liked what it was following. I think like the synopsis is super interesting. I'm gonna read it for you guys so you get what I mean. A murder, a police raid, and a photo of a mysterious girl. A young mother must piece together her twin son's secret romantic life in order to find out what happened to them. And like from the trailers that I saw, I was really intrigued by it and all of that, but I liked where the movie was going, but I feel like it never got anywhere, and I think all of the things that it said it was gonna do and all of the things that it set up kind of just died, in my opinion. Like, it didn't go further than that, and I wish it did. I think it ended up being a really interesting story about like immigration and all of that, but I don't know, I didn't feel it, and I think I could have really felt it if they just tried a little bit harder. Then I rewatched Cherry when it came out on Apple TV Plus, and I still liked it. I still enjoyed it. I wanted to revisit it because there were so many negative reviews about this movie, and I'm like, let me rewatch it, let me see how I feel, and I still liked this movie. I think it's really good. I think Tom Holland carries the movie. He does a great job. I just really like the stylistic choices here. I understand if people don't like it because I think it's very out there, and like I think it could at times feel a bit jumbled and all over the place. But for the most part, I still really enjoyed this. I'm not going to go too deep into it because I've already reviewed the movie if you want to check out my review. Then I rewatched Return of the Jedi again because I was going to continue my Star Wars review series with Return of the Jedi, but my life decided to be extremely busy and I didn't do that. Hopefully I can like review it soon. Just know that I really like this movie. As I wrote an epic conclusions to one of my favorite trilogies ever, I just really enjoy this movie. It's awesome. Then I saw, ooh yes, an awesome one. Oh my gosh. I saw Primal Fear, and this is one of the best courthouse dramas I've ever seen. If not the best, honestly, because I haven't seen too many courthouse dramas that have impacted me. The performances are great all around. You have Richard Gere, you have Laura Linney, and you have Edward Norton, and Edward Norton did such an incredible job, and I love seeing his dynamic with Richard Gere's character. And this movie is another one that I think you want to go into blind, because I didn't really know anything about this movie. I just went into it because it had such a stacked cast and I've heard good things about it, but I didn't expect it to be this good. And the twist that the movie has is so clever. It's one of those movies that it's like, aha, so you got me. It doesn't do these twists in like a really extravagantly big way. It's very subtle, and I like that about it. It's a very subtle, I guess you could say slow movie, but I think it all works for its favor. And it's a movie where like you don't even know who to root for, and I love movies like that because you're like, who do I trust? What does he know? What does he not know? It's such a great movie, honestly. Like, everybody go watch it right now. Then I saw Halloween 3 Season of the Witch because yes, my Halloween review series is coming back very soon. By maybe this review is gonna come out next week soon. I started a Halloween series on the channel and I said I was gonna review one every month, and I didn't do that, and I only reviewed the first 2 movies, but I'm back. Like, it's back. I've been filming those videos and I'm so excited for you guys to see them, but all I'm gonna tell you guys is that the concept was there, but the execution was just not there. Moving on to the next one, I saw Step Up to the Streets. I saw this with my friends. Step Up is good. I like the Step Up movies. They're like so fun and silly, but I enjoy them. I don't even know what my favorite Step Up is because I've seen all of them, but I don't remember them. Like, they're all jumbled in my brain. But this one has the epic rain scene at the end. Also, when I watch these movies, especially these old like 2000s movies, I sometimes notice how annoying the characters are and how like dramatic the situations that they put the characters in are. Like, yeah, I don't care, cheesy or not, this movie's fun. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. I skipped my final 2 Miami Film Festival movies. Let me go back. So I saw Plantados, and this one was really good. Really intense though, and it's basically based on a true story about Cuban prisoners and what they went through. And it was so intense, but so well done. And it was shot and filmed in Miami, like some of it. So I live in Miami, and it's a bunch of places that I go to, which was so funny because like they showed aerial shots of different places, and I'm like, I literally go there all the time. And if you guys didn't know, you know now, but I'm Cuban, so I think watching this movie, I learned a lot and it was really hard to watch because I'm Cuban, and like knowing that people went through this and knowing that just people are still going through terrible things in Cuba is just, it's really sad, honestly. But I think the movie was really well done, and I think it's really important for people to see this movie. I don't know where it's available because again, I saw it at the festival. I hope this movie gets more recognition across the country and across the world. Hopefully it does, but this movie was really good, and the acting was amazing. It actually felt like these people were being tortured, and also it was so intense. I don't think I'll ever rewatch this movie, but I do think it was a good watch that I needed to watch. Speaking of Cuba, I also saw this one. It wasn't on Letterboxd, so I couldn't log it, but it's called The Cuban Dancer, and it was so good. It was a documentary about this guy from Cuba, and then him and his family moved over here, and kind of that transition and his whole thought process. And the movie, as it was a documentary, it also had dance sequences inside the movie, like very expressive, I would kind of say contemporary dance pieces that I really liked. And I really like the documentary, not just because I'm Cuban, but like I just think it does a really great job at exploring different themes and stuff. And yes, I'm Cuban, so there's a little bit of bias there, but I like seeing his transition from Cuba to here, because when I came to this country, I was just a little girl, so I didn't really go through a lot of what he went through because he was much older, and I thought it was really incredible just seeing everything that he went through and his family went through, and also just that cultural change, because even though here in Miami there's like a really big Hispanic and Latino culture, it's still different than Cuba, and I liked seeing all of that, so I really enjoyed that one as well. I hope more people get to see it. And that wraps it up for Miami Film Festival, and I just kind of want to say something about the festival. I really liked watching it. A lot of the movies that I saw were directed or produced or like just made by women, and a bunch of them were made by Hispanic people starring Hispanic individuals, and it's really good, at least for me, to see that, because as somebody who wants to go and make movies in the future if possible, it's inspiring to see people like at the Miami Film Festival make movies that are kind of just like me, and especially with Cuban Dancer and Plantados, that they were Cuban. I just really enjoyed seeing those, and I'm really happy that there's like a big culture here. But yeah, it's like really inspiring, and I cannot wait for Miami Film Festival next year. I had a blast watching the movies this year, and hopefully next year it's in person and it's just even better, because I know it's gonna be so much fun. Okay, so I just finished with Miami Film Festival, and after I saw Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice, and I saw the Ultimate Edition, and I have not seen the theatrical one. I've only seen the one on HBO Max, which is the Ultimate Edition, so I don't have any comparison to do. I really liked this movie. I think the only thing I didn't like was the runtime, honestly. Sometimes I feel like, especially at the beginning or the middle, I was kind of like, okay, wrap it up, keep going, and I feel like there were a couple of scenes they could have cut. I just really liked the third act, honestly. I think that's my favorite act, and I think it saved it from being a 3.5 out of 5 to a 4 out of 5 stars. And I loved Wonder Woman in it, and I loved the score and of the third act. I just think the third act was so epic in this movie, and I really liked in this movie the sense of urgency that it had. I think that's really important to have in these types of superhero movies. I felt like this was a very good and balanced versus movie, so I definitely am a huge fan of this movie. Oh, also, I forgot to mention before I move on, Ben Affleck as Batman, I really liked him, actually. This is the first time I've seen him be Batman, and I really like him as Batman. I think he's really good for the role. I saw Operation Varsity Blues, the college admissions scandal, and it's a new documentary on Netflix, and I liked it. I think it was really good. I think it exposed a lot of people that needed to be exposed. I myself know a lot about this topic because I just remember when it was like really big, especially with the whole Olivia Jade's mom and all of that. Like, I remember that so vividly. I think I was a junior in high school when that happened, or a senior. It's crazy that a lot of these people are just out there living their life like if nothing happened, just because they're rich and they just can get out of it super easy, and it's really frustrating and stuff. I feel like at times the documentary could be a bit redundant, but I still really enjoyed it, and I also liked the recreation of it. A lot of it is like recreated with different actors, and I enjoyed it for the most part. I ended the month by watching both Justice Leagues. I saw the 2017 Justice League for the first time, and oh my gosh, was it bad. I didn't think it was gonna be this bad. This is the first time I've seen it. I never saw it when it came out in theaters, but I wanted to watch it before I saw Zack Snyder's Justice League. This movie is so hilariously bad, honestly. Like, I laughed at so many lines, especially my favorite is when Wonder Woman says, "Kal-El, no." I just love the monotone voice and look that she gives him, and like, I don't know, I couldn't stop laughing when I saw that line. I still have not stopped laughing. Why? But this movie was a mess, like such a big mess. I'm just gonna stop talking about it because I'm gonna talk about Zack Snyder's Justice League. I know you all clicked on this video because I put Zack Snyder's Justice League in the thumbnail. I know you did that, guys. So let's talk about it. This movie is literally the reason I love superhero movies, like the epicness of it all. I go to watch these movies and I love them so much because I like seeing grand movies, and this was honestly it. I loved the way the scenes were put together in this movie because, like I said, I literally saw the Justice League, the other Justice League, the same day. I saw it like, I saw the first one, then I waited an hour, I had lunch, and I went back to Zack Snyder's Justice League. I had the other one pretty fresh in my brain, and like the way the scenes were assembled in this version were so much better than how they were assembled in the last version. It gave so much depth to so many characters that it really makes me wonder what the hell Joss Whedon and the studio were thinking for cutting so many scenes, especially with Victor and Cyborg. I didn't care for him at all in the 2017 Justice League. I was like, what the hell is he even doing here? And in this one we get so much more depth with him that I literally almost cried for his character, and we really got to understand it so well. And similar with the Flash and other characters, I think all of these characters were giving so much justice in one movie, and I think the runtime needed to be that way to give these characters their time and their spotlight. And I think there were so many iconic moments, and it makes me really excited for the future of the DCEU. I want them to continue. I want Zack Snyder to continue making DCEU movies, especially with that ending, the prologue. I just think it has a lot of great potential to be awesome, honestly. Also, the score was so awesome in this movie, and I loved all the slow-mo shots. There were probably sometimes too many slow motion shots, but I still really liked it, and I just had a blast watching it. It was just so much fun and so good, and the aspect ratio didn't bother me. Honestly, I saw some people say that it bothered them. I didn't care. I just thought the movie was epic. And that about wraps up everything that I saw in the month of March. And yeah, make sure to let me know, guys, what you watched last month. I love making these videos. Thank you so much for joining me today. Make sure to subscribe for weekly movie content. I'm posting Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and also some bonus videos sometimes. Make sure to follow me on all my social medias. It'll all be linked down below. And thank you guys so much for all of your endless support, and have a wonderful rest of your day. I'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys.